For the first time in, well, ever, our family will not be gathering around the fire, decorating the tree and calling out lines while we watch It's a Wonderful Life like it was Rocky Horror Picture Show, or laughing hysterically while trying to guess what Mrs. Washer's mystery presents are. But somehow we've survived with our family intact, something to be grateful for. I hope your families are safe right now. But if your business doesn't feel safe, there's something I'd like you to see, something I've learned from the movies that I know will help. What do It's a Wonderful Life, Apollo 13, and COVID-19 have in common? They're all about people who suffered a disaster but didn't reap a tragedy. And they all reveal a truth worth seeing in the world of work. In It's a Wonderful Life, George Bailey is depicted over and over as a failure in business. Finally, he's facing bankruptcy and ruin with no way out. In Apollo 13, 3 astronauts are stranded in outer space when their ship blows up. And they have no way to reach the moon, or maybe even get home. In COVID-19, 6 billion people get their livelihoods shut down, with seemingly no way to revive most of them. Now, looking at these stories through rational eyes, you'd expect George Bailey to end up in prison, 3 astronauts to be lost in the cold vacuum of space, and only the odd politically well-connected business to survive COVID-19. But if we look a little deeper, we see something remarkable. People doing what they can with the right energy discover solutions logic would miss. There is more to life than is dreamt of in your philosophies, says Hamlet to Horatio. See, most of us live in a dream of our own making. And even though we do all the proper things, the right things, at the same time, we send out enough negative energy to turn life into a nightmare. But we also have the capacity to turn a tragedy into a triumph. George Bailey is led by conscience his entire life to do the right thing, no matter the personal cost. And we really feel what that does to him.
As secretary, you can hire anyone you like.
Dr. Campbell, now let's get this thing straight. I'm leaving right now. I'm going to school. This is my last chance. Uncle Billy here, he's your man.
But George, they'll vote with Potter otherwise.
In Apollo 13, Jim Lovell gives up his dream of landing on the moon to get his crew home safely. Tell me this is not a bittersweet moment.
Damn, they were close.
Gentlemen, what are your intentions? I'd like to go home.
And in COVID-19, despite what it's doing to us, so many are still trying to be as generous as they were before. And yet, too many are living a George Bailey moment where nearly everything has been lost. How do you deal with that? The answer is hiding in plain sight. It seems the way it works is that we have to give up the idea that what we see is what we get, and try to work out the idea that what we get is what we see. When George Bailey gets this in his heart, he also learns he's going to prison. And here's what he says.
Well, hello, Mr. Bank Examiner. How are you?
Mr. Bailey, there's a deficit.
I know, $8,000.
George, I've got a little paper.
I'll bet it's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't it wonderful? I'm going to jail. Merry Christmas. Reporters. Oh, where's Mary? Mary! Oh, look at this wonderful old drafty house. Mary!
When Jim Lovell realizes his fate relies on a couple of frozen batteries to stay alive, he turns to his crew and says this.
Marked. 35 seconds to entry interface.
Gentlemen, it's been a privilege flying with you.
You may be forbidden to put food on your table because some politician wants an entire restaurant to himself, like Mr. Potter swearing out a warrant for George Bailey, secretly knowing he was the one who stole George's money, which put him in this position. The natural feeling is impossible to ignore, But what equally impossible thing is life trying to show you? It seems that first, it's to let go of who we thought we were. In both movies, the main characters fail at their most cherished goals. George Bailey to get rich and travel the world, and Jim Lovell to walk on the moon. But both men achieve real peace about who they are and their place in the universe. That's what we're all being called upon to see now. We can do this by asking ourselves if the results we've been getting from the energy we've been sending is still what we want, or we can ask if life has something more for us. I've learned that the more you learn about who you really are, the better your results in every area. I always wondered, after George Bailey won, why didn't we see a scene with the evil Mr. Potter getting his comeuppance? It's because this is not a story about revenge. It's about the power of love appearing in a form that inspires not anger, but awe. You see, this is an amazing time to be in business. Many are actually doing better than they did before the pandemic, from tea sellers to tutors. Now you're the main character in a movie that everyone is watching. And it's the energy you broadcast now that will attract the solutions that will write your ending. Too few understand this. Everyone else is seeing what they get right now. Be the one to get what you see, and you'll see the ending you want. From our family to yours, may your holiday be rich with laughter and filled with love.